We just finished up practice. It was interesting because I think everybody was emotionally drained from the weekend. Kids start school tomorrow, so we get back into a normal routine for us. But just very appreciative of this weekend. Certainly Saturday's game was a special moment for our program, and certainly thankful that we get an opportunity to have these type of situations within our athletic department, whether it's our program or some of the other venues that our teams have played in. A big shout out to our marketing group here in the athletic department for doing an outstanding job and getting the word out, and certainly the citizens of Madison, our Badger fans, for coming out. I mean, you put these events on, and they certainly have made them very rewarding for our players, and certainly thankful to people not only around the surrounding community, but certainly around the state, as busloads of people came from the northern part of the states with maybe some young female hockey players and just fans that wanted to participate in our events. So it was a special night. Certainly the players, as I talked to them this morning, are still a little in awe of the whole situation because, you talk about it, you put the energy, and our marketing people put a lot of time and commitment into it, and you're going to throw this big party, and you don't know what the end result was going to be. But as I mentioned after the game, as the national anthem was going on, you start looking around, and it was like, wow, this is really happening. So a heartfelt thankfulness for giving our players, our staff, and women's hockey really a shot in the arm. It was nice to win the game too.
So you had this vision a number of years ago. Do you have any other visions you'd care to share with us?
No, as I was driving in this morning, I was listening to you on the radio. The one thing that I thought about was, and we don't obviously play in the building, and I haven't seen a lot of games in there lately. As we're coming on the ice, and they mentioned the games at the Kohl Center and on the Bob Johnson Ice Arena, and it just sort of stuck in the back of my mind. And I was just thinking that if my dad was still alive and witnessed the game Saturday night, my mom happened to be in attendance at the game, and she just loved it. And I was just thinking, if my dad, who loved hockey, it's a great day for hockey we talk about, he just would have been smiling and loved every moment of that evening.
Did you get a chance to interact with any fans, parents, anything afterward? And what were their reactions like, if you did?
Well, usually the first person I ask is my wife, and she's pretty honest with me, and so she had a big smile on her face and really enjoyed it. I was out getting groceries yesterday, and the first guy I run into behind the deli department was at the game. He just thought it was the greatest thing ever. So, the initial reaction, from the people that I ran into, it was an enjoyable afternoon, and I think that's the most important thing. I think they saw some pretty good hockey, but most importantly, they saw a special event that in our business and on our side on the women's game, you don't see very often. So there was a lot of energy in the building. There seemed to be a lot of young kids, which made it that much more fun, I think, for our players. And as I talked to my players again this morning, they're nothing but smiles.
You kind of touched on it a little bit about all the turnout there, and what does that say about the future of women's hockey with all the numbers and all the people coming? That's got to be a good sight to see.
It is. I mean, it's really a shot in the arm. The interesting part is the game was on live television, throughout the state and throughout Minnesota. So, it's anytime you can get the exposure, our players appreciate it. But I think the big thing is, when the program first started here, I remember being at the first game against Duluth, and there was probably 3,500 people at that game, and that was sort of the starting point. And then it's the ability to to bring in quality players, put a product on the ice that our athletic department, the city, can be proud of. And we've had some special players, we've had some special teams over the course of time, and our fans have recognized it. They've come out and supported us. We got one of the best venues in women's hockey with the opportunity to play at LeBon, and with these special events, anytime you can do that and expose your product to more people and to the masses, more people are going to get involved in it and more interested in it, and the support is going to increase. So whether you're a St. Cloud fan or a Badger fan or just a hockey fan, certainly was a very special moment for us Saturday afternoon.